right. All right. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my YouTube family. Y'all, I'm doing it all at the same time, y'all. Good afternoon, YouTube. Good afternoon, Wisdom. Good afternoon, Clubhouse. I see you, Waukesha, y'all. If you have not gone to her website, Waukesha Wykeiisha how HOWE. Go to her website, y'all.com. Go to her website. Atlanta Public School Board, y'all. Her election is on Tuesday, just a few days away, y'all. We got to get the right people in office. Thank you for joining me in the Clubhouse space. Waukesha, thank you. I'm on Twitter family. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. So YouTube and Wisdom and Clubhouse, Facebook, I see you. I'm still not able to access my personal page, but we are able to access the Tamara for Georgia page. So thank you for joining me. If you're watching me on Facebook, trying to make sure we are everywhere all the time, y'all. Everywhere all the time. I again am Tamara Johnson Shealey. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification, and share. If you follow me right here on YouTube, Facebook, please share. Twitter, please hit that share button. Wisdom, come on in. This is a brand new app, a brand new application. I'm trying it out here with this Keeping Up with Congress. Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. I come to you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 5:30. I keep telling you, we will not, and I repeat, we will not get reparations without negotiations. We just won't. It just won't happen, y'all. We got to be able to play this political game when we get to Congress. So I consider this our homework, as we are navigating these bills, learning who these legislators are. This is how we get reparations. We won't get it without we won't get it without knowing this game. We won't get it without knowing their sweet spot. Most of these legislators have sweet spots. They have initiatives that they care and they're most passionate about. So we're learning. We're learning. I don't want to go to Congress figuring it out, because honestly, I'm a little nervous about going to Congress figuring it out, because look, I'm scared they ain't gonna tell me everything. So I don't trust none of them. So I need to go there well versed and learned, right? We need to be prepared as we go into these hallways of the United States Senate. So yeah, I don't want to go there depending on them to share and tell and show me. No, sir. No, sir. So again, thank you for joining me. It's a rainy afternoon here in Georgia, but I took today, and it was a day that I kind of reflected a bit on, how hard it is for us as I'm gonna specifically speak to us as Black people. I had a group of white women that I spoke with this morning, and one of them mentioned how, they see the reparations movement and they see conversations where they are not invited, or they feel like they don't know what to do. They don't know how to do it. And that's a conversation I'm gonna bring to the clubhouse room today. And we're gonna, we got to be mindful that we won't get reparations without collaborations, right? Negotiations up in the halls of Congress, but we won't get it without collaboration. And I said to these white women that we won't get reparations without you. And I want Black people to be real clear. We can't be pushing folks away from us, because we need all hands on deck. All hands on deck. And it will take more voices than our Black voices. Hell, we've been saying this for 400 years. So we can't push anybody away who wants to help us in this fight. Now, granted, they need to let us guide in the process. I get that. And they get that. But I don't want, people to feel like they can't be a part of this movement with us, because there's room for everybody. So I'll bring that conversation to the clubhouse space today. If you're not on Clubhouse, be sure to get on that app, y'all. Wisdom Clubhouse. These are some great spaces, audio apps. A lot of times we don't have time to sit and read, but we can listen. You can listen while you're driving. You can listen while you brushing your teeth. You can listen when you wake up and when you go to bed. So I love the audio apps and the connections that I'm able to make. So I am Tamara Johnson Shealey, y'all. Go to the website. You see it right here on the screen. You see it at the top of the Clubhouse room. You see it at the top, y'all. They got a new pin feature. So yeah, you can pin it up there. So yes, I need you to go to the website and make a contribution, TamaraForGeorgia.com. I want to travel, y'all. I'm telling you, I've been pounding the pavement. Good afternoon, Universal Mike. I've been pounding the pavement these last few days because I really want to get, I told y'all I'm a grassroots candidate, and the best way for me to navigate literally, y'all, is just on the ground. You know, I get on the ground, I meet people, I'm personable. I love being around people. It fuels me. And not being able to get out and move around because we don't have the money to do it, and we got to make sure that we have the money to take care of the campaign. You know, I don't believe in not paying our bills and moving accordingly. So we got to take care of the campaign on the front end, and then I can move around on the back end, because the campaign can't take care of itself. And I don't want to move around without taking care of the campaign. That doesn't make sense. That's like you pay your bills before you do anything, or you eat your vegetables before you eat your dessert. So, you know, you do your homework before you go outside and play. You know, I'm very disciplined and very structured in that regard. So if you have not made a contribution, please do so, y'all. There's a trip that I am like, I'm just trusting God. I want to go down to South Georgia. There's an event happening that we need to be in the midst of, and I want to be there. But y'all, the money is funny. And I can't take the money to do that when we got to make sure we're taking care of the needs of this campaign, the bigger, greater needs of it. So please go to the website. That's my ask. I'm passing the collection plate. Go to the website. Ask people that you know can give. You know, if you can't give, find somebody who can. You know, sometimes it's just asking somebody else to help might be the key to getting us over the finish line. So I'll get off that soapbox, but again, please go to the website and might make a contribution. So, you know, at the top of the hour, I'd like to dive into reparations information. So this is an article that I found. It says the new study, a leftward shift among Democrats and independents while Republicans stagnant, has led to wide polarization among Americans on identity issues. This article talks about race and racialized issues. It says including policing, reparations for slavery, voting rights, the COVID-19 pandemic, immigration, and others have remained prominent in the first year of the Biden administration and were central to the 2020 presidential election. It says the long-term context for the reemergence of identity issues includes a remarkable and ongoing shift in attitudes about topics related to racial, ethnic, religious, and national identities. It says after decades of relative status and racial attitudes, Democrats have become dramatically more liberal over the past several years, while Republicans have not moved on these issues. So it says Democrats have become more liberal over the past 7 years. It says today, the Democracy Fund Voter Study Group releases a report, this is a few days ago, that sheds light on this shift and related issues. This report is called Racing Apart, Partisan Shifts on Racial Attitudes Over the Last Decade. Says in this study, it says using two unique survey projects, one that has tracked over 3,300 Americans over almost 10 years, and another that interviewed 500,000 Americans between July 2019 and February 2021, the study's authors uncovered the following key findings. It says that the murder of George Floyd and the protests that followed had a dramatic impact on America's attitudes on policing and the Black Lives Matter movement. It says, however, these shifts were mostly temporary. Yeah, y'all, temporary. Like, what happened? What happened? Hey, good afternoon, Don. I see you. It says the long-term consequences of these shifts was even more partisan polarization on racial issues. It says, despite a growing recognition that slavery and discrimination have created obstacles for Black people, support for policies that address these obstacles lags. Y'all, they telling the truth. What happened, y'all? After George Floyd, it was that moment was definitely temporary. And now it says that support for policies that address these obstacles, it says lags. It says our study concludes that rising acceptance of more liberal views on racial issues isn't matched by a corresponding level of support for concrete steps to address racism, such as reparations, y'all. This was said by Michael Tesler, professor of political science at the University of California. He says, only when it comes to affirmative action do we see a decisive shift in support. Goes on to say, compared to 2011, Democrats in 2020 were far more likely to agree that Black people have gotten less than they deserve, 32% versus 73%, and to agree that discrimination makes it difficult for Black people to make economic progress, 51% versus 77%. Said Democrats were also more likely to disagree that Black people should overcome prejudice without favors, 35% versus 64%, and to disagree that Black people should be as well off as white people if they tried harder, 50% to 71%. Says independents showed smaller but directionally similar changes, y'all. I'm just going to take a moment. Let's dive into the next article, y'all. Let's dive into the next article. So this is St. Louis Mayor Tishura Tishura Jones. I hope I'm not butchering her name too bad. And Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas are among a dozen of U.S. mayors calling for local reparations to address the racial wealth gap by ending racist policies. This article talks about data from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis shows that in 2019, the median white family had about $184,000 in wealth, while the median Black family had about $23,000. It says St. Louis Mayor Tishura Jones is one of a dozen U.S. mayors who are committing to reparations to address the racial wealth gap. It says through mayors organized for reparations and equity, they say cities could take a leading role in addressing the wealth gap by implementing local reparations programs. So this is their approach to this and that's their argument. I was wondering what their argument was. This is me and my little moment here. Their argument is that the cities could take a leading role in addressing the wealth gap by implementing local reparations programs. Says the monetary piece is just one piece. This is what Jones says. She says, when I talk about reparations, I talk about reparations. And because we always have to repair the racist policies that have prevented African Americans in this country from participating in the generational wealth that many of our white neighbors have been able to participate in. The article goes on to say the coalition aims to use municipalities as demonstration sites that could lead to a federal reparations initiative while focusing on a specific city's needs. So they're using us to focus on their city's needs by pushing reparations when we know this ain't reparations. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. We just got to read through the lines. Read through the lines. It says Jones said her administration is still examining how a local reparations program could work. Look, she don't even know. Okay. Yeah, she said her administration is still examining how a local reparations program could work. But she said it's important to address housing discrimination. She says, for example, Jones points to North St. Louis, where homes are valued far less than similar properties in South St. Louis. The article goes on to say some cities across the country have already started equity initiatives meant to invest in Black communities. Talks about Evanston. We all know about Evanston, Illinois. Says officials approved an initiative earlier this year to provide $400,000 in housing assistance and mortgage relief to residents living in the city between 1919 and 1969. It says direct descendants of someone harmed by discriminatory housing policies also would be eligible. So that's the initiative we talked about just yesterday with Keeping Up with Congress, Evanston, and how they are moving forward with their quote unquote reparations initiatives. It says, but local programs could lead, here it is, but local programs could lead to a diluted federal reparations plan that wouldn't match the necessary investment needed to close the racial wealth gap if federal leaders already see localities implementing such initiatives. Y'all, that's Dr. William Darity, y'all. We know who he is. Our who we follow is a public policy professor at Duke University. Darity, a leading proponent of reparations, said the nation needs to eliminate the 12 trillion wealth gap between Black and white Americans through direct payments. He doesn't consider local initiatives reparations because cities don't have the money to eliminate the racial wealth gap. Here's a quote from Dr. Darity. He says that we estimate that this would be somewhere in the vicinity of $280,000 to $320,000 per eligible Black American descendant of persons enslaved in the United States, Darity said. As soon as you make that payment, you essentially erase the racial wealth gap. Darity said the best course of action is through the federal government, though he's aware overwhelming congressional support now is unlikely. He says President Joe Biden is having trouble getting his economic proposals through Congress, especially in the Senate, where Democrats hold only a thin margin of control. The article goes on to say that simply means that part of the struggle is to make sure that we have a different Congress, Darity said. You better preach, Darity. You're right. We need a different Congress. It says we have to work hard towards ensuring that we get a different group of elected officials who will be predisposed toward a reparations plan. You better preach. Look at him talking about our seat, y'all. That's our seat. That's our seat. Darity said there's a precedent for a reparations initiative. He says the federal government paid the families of the victims of the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks and Japanese Americans whom U.S. authorities relocated to internment camps during World War II. So Dr. Darity went in on them, y'all. He went in. This is an article about these mayors who trying to grab our resources. That's how I see it. Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Look, I done went way over my time. Sometimes I go down that reparations rabbit hole and y'all, I can't come out. I just keep reading. And I think some of you appreciate that. I think many of you appreciate that I do keep up with what's happening with the reparations initiatives around the country. So let's dive in, y'all. We got to get these bills. So this is Senate Bill 806, Senate Bill 806. Senator Merkley, Jeff Merkley, we know he's a Democrat out of Oregon. We've seen lots of bills from Senator Merkley. This is the MPH Act of 2021. The MPH Act of 2021. It says this bill requires the Department of Transportation to provide grants to states, Indian tribes, and federal land management agencies to carry out pollinator-friendly practices on roadsides and highway right-of-ways, including the planting and seeding of native, locally appropriate grasses, wildflowers, and milkweed. So this is the MPH Act of 2021, which stands for the Monarch and Pollinator Highways Act of 2021. Senate Bill 807. Senate Bill 807 is the Cameras in the Courtroom Act. Cameras in the Courtroom Act. This is Senator Richard Durbin. He's a Democrat out of Illinois. It says this bill requires the Supreme Court to permit television coverage of all open sessions of the court unless it decides by majority vote that allowing such coverage in a particular case will violate the due process rights of any of the parties involved. So this is the Cameras in the Courtroom Act, Senate Bill 807. Senate Bill 808, Senate Bill 808, Senator Jack Reed, he's a Democrat out of Rhode Island. This is the Cybersecurity Disclosure Act of 2021, Cybersecurity Disclosure Act of 2021. It says this bill directs the Securities and Exchange Commission to issue final rules requiring a registered user of securities to disclose in its mandatory annual report and annual proxy statements whether any member of its governing body has expertise or experience in cybersecurity. It says if no member has such expertise or experience, the issuer must describe what other company cybersecurity aspects were taken into account by the person responsible for identifying and evaluating nominees for the governing body. So this is the Cybersecurity Disclosure Act. This is Senator Jack Reed. He's, again, a Democrat out of Rhode Island. Senate Bill 809. Senate Bill 809 is the Monarch Action, Recovery, and Conservation of Habitat Act of 2021. This is Senator Merkley. I tell you, we see some bills from Senator Merkley, y'all. He's a Democrat out of Oregon. It says this bill provides support for the conservation of Western monarch butterflies. These monarch butterfly population that overwinters along the coast of California and breeds across California, Arizona, Nevada, Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Utah. So I looked up these special butterflies, y'all. They're really pretty, and I'm sure we've all seen them. They're orange and black butterflies, beautiful butterflies. But the monarch butterfly is so important, and here's why. It says, more than beautiful, the monarch butterflies contribute to the health of our planet. It says, while feeding on nectar, they pollinate many types of flowers. It says monarch butterflies are also an important food source for birds, small animals, and other insects. So the monarch butterfly, and this is Senator Merkley. Senate Bill 809. Senate Bill 810. Senate Bill 810. This is the Fair Care for Vietnam Veterans Act of 2021. This is Senator Tester, John Tester, Democrat, Montana. It says this bill provides a presumption of service connection for hypertension and monoclonal gammopathy of undetermined significance, so MGUS, for veterans who served in Vietnam between January 9, 1962 and May 7, 1975. It says, under a presumption of service connection, specific conditions diagnosed in certain veterans are presumed to have been caused by the circumstance of their military service. So this is the Fair Care for Vietnam Veterans Act. So there's a lot of illnesses that have come out of our veterans serving in Vietnam. So this is the Fair Care for Vietnam Veterans Act of 2021, Senate Bill 810. Senate Bill 811. Senate Bill 811. We got about 5 more minutes, less than 5 minutes, looks like 3 minutes. And I want to finish, y'all. So bear with me. I got on my reparations. I went down that reparations rabbit hole, y'all. I couldn't help it. So Senate Bill 811, Taiwan Fellowship Act. This is Senator Markley, Edward Markley, Democrat, Massachusetts. It says this bill directs the Department of State to establish a program to provide fellowships in Taiwan to qualifying U.S. government employees. So it's amazing, y'all, how we got money for Taiwan. Take a sip of water. Scratchy throat. All right. Senate Bill 812. Senate Bill 812. Woo-wee. Excuse me, y'all. That's a whole lot of talking, right? Okay, Senate Bill 812 is a bill. This is Senator Menendez, Robert Menendez, Democrat out of New Jersey. It's a bill to direct the Secretary of State to develop a strategy to regain observer status for Taiwan in the World Health Organization and for other purposes. So this bill, it says, directs the Department of State to include additional information in its annual reports concerning Taiwan's participation at the World Health Organization's World Health Assembly, so WHA, as an observer. It says the report shall describe changes and improvements to the State Department's plan to support Taiwan's observer status at the WHA. Excuse me, y'all. Tickle in my throat. Senate Bill 813, y'all. Senate Bill 813. Senator Markey, Edward Markey. This is the Alice Cogswell and Ann Sullivan Macy Act. It says this bill expands special education and related services for students who are deaf or hard of hearing, students with visual disabilities, and children and youth who are deaf and blind. So this is Senator Ed Markey, Democrat, Massachusetts. Senate Bill 814, Senate Bill 814. This is the Ukraine Security Partnership Act of 2021. Ukraine Security Partnership Act of 2021. This is Senator James Risch, Republican out of Idaho. It says this bill contains provisions related to the U.S. support of Ukraine. Y'all, we got money for Taiwan. We got money for Ukraine. I need them to have some money for citizens of these United States. I need them to have monies for reparations, y'all. But we got money for Ukraine and Taiwan. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Let me keep it moving. Let's see if I can get us through these last 5 bills. This is the Senate Bill 815. Senate Bill 815 is the PPP Extension Act of 2021. This is Senator Marco Rubio. We all know who he is. And this was a bill to extend the Paycheck Protection Program. So during the PPP period, he was back in March when he introduced this. This was his bill to extend it. He already knew that it would take more months than what they had granted. So he wanted to extend it through June. And the current expiration was March. So this was Senator Marco Rubio, y'all, early on with the PPP Extension Act of 2021. Senate Bill 816 is the Diplomatic Support and Security Act of 2021. Diplomatic Support and Security Act of 2021. Senator Risch again. It says this bill is to amend the Diplomatic Security Act of 1986 to provide for improved serious security incident investigations. So this is some national security, Diplomatic Support and Security Act of 2021. Senate Bill 817, Senator Schultz, S-C-H-A-T-Z, Schultz. This is Brian Schultz. He's a Democrat out of Hawaii. This is the Wall Street Tax Act of 2021. This bill imposes a 0.1% exercise tax on certain purchases of stocks, bonds, and derivatives. This is Senate Bill 817. Senate Bill 818, just a few more minutes, y'all, just a few more minutes, a few more bills. Senate Bills 818, this is the Sunshine in the Courtroom Act. We just saw one in camera, so this is another one. Sunshine in the Courtroom Act of 2021. This is Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican out of Iowa. It says this bill establishes a framework to allow federal court proceedings in district court and circuit courts and at the Supreme Court to be photographed, recorded, broadcast, or televised. It says specifically it authorizes the presiding judge to permit media coverage for court proceedings. So this is getting some sunshine in the courtrooms, Sunshine in the Courtroom Act of 2021. Senate Bill 819 is the Energy Security Cooperation with Allied Partners in Europe Act of 2021. This is Senator John Barrasso, Republican out of Wyoming. It says this bill establishes requirements relating to the U.S. International Energy Strategy. It says applications to export natural gas to North Atlantic Treaty Organization member countries, Japan, and certain other countries shall be granted on an expedited basis without modification or delay. So they want to send some export natural gas to some of their allied partners. Look, as high as gas prices is right now, I need them to slow their roll. This was introduced back in March. Yeah, Senate Bill 819, everybody. This is our last one, y'all. This is our last one. Senate Bill 820. Senate Bill 820 is a bill to provide an exemption from certain requirements for federally funded projects and activities in areas not in metropolitan statistical areas. This is Senator Marsha Blackburn. She's a Republican out of the state of Tennessee. But I just wanted to look up this. What is the metropolitan statistical areas? Like, what is that, y'all? I want to make sure that we understand these terms, these concepts. Again, we won't go to Congress not knowing. So this metropolitan statistical area, it's an earlier version of a metropolitan statistical areas. It says an example of a typical metropolitan area is Chicago. It says because it's a single large city and the surrounding areas are affected by the proximity to the large city. So they're looking at the city and the surrounding areas. So this is the standard metropolitan statistical areas, y'all. It's an earlier version of the metropolitan statistical area. So this is a way they're looking at proximity to Large City and the surrounding areas. So again, Keeping Up with Congress, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, on Clubhouse, on Wisdom, on Facebook, on Twitter. Y'all, I'm about to get IG, and we'll have something to put on TikTok sooner or later. But we are on TikTok. But I'm going to make sure we are everywhere. We got 7 months until this campaign, 7 months until this campaign. But we have municipal races around the country. If you are in Atlanta, y'all, please, Waukesha Howell, right? Waukesha Howell, y'all, please look her up. Look for her name on your ballot. If you are in the Atlanta metro area, school board, spread the word. We got a candidate that we have to get elected on this coming Tuesday. So I will see you back here on Monday. On Monday, y'all, Keeping Up with Congress. But you'll see me on Saturday on the broadcast. You guys have a great afternoon. Be sure to go to the website, donate. Look, we can't get there without it. So make sure you do what you can. Have a good week. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealey, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website. That's tamara4georgia.com. www.tamara, Tamara4, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress.